Close the eyes if you want to, or you can bring the gaze to just a gentle focus out in front of you. Palms face forward, and you can roll the shoulders up and back to just draw the shoulder blades slightly together. And feel the full feet on the mat. Gently draw the crown of the head up toward the sky, making the body long but gentle. And let the breath be natural and the belly full. And then see if you can make the breath just a little bit deeper. Once again, finding that rooting of the feet into the earth, the crown of the head up toward the sky, and the belly fills as you breathe in. And see if you can identify someplace in your practice where you feel really confident in yoga. Someplace you feel solid and sure. Maybe it's a pose or a mindset. Maybe it's a feeling of joy that you bring into the room. Whatever it is, just call it in. And during that place in your practice today, call in a smile. So if down dog is your confidence building piece, smile when you're in down dog. Or if joy is a thing that you find in your practice, smile when you feel joy. One more deep breath in and out. And you can flutter the eyes open and draw the arms up and overhead. And we'll take a brief chair pose here. So as you exhale, bend the knees, sink nice and deep, and then keep sinking all the way down until you find yourself on your seat and then on your back. And bring the feet in close enough to get ready for bridge here, tucking the tailbone slightly. As you inhale, press into the feet and roll up, leaving the hands down by the side. Feel the thighs engage, the feet root into the floor. And then exhale to slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. This time as you roll up, bring the arms up and back. Backs of the hands find the ground behind you. And exhale to roll down. Leave the arms where they are this time. So backs of the hands on the ground. And inhale to rise. And exhale to lower, bring the hands down with you. So take a few more rounds of bridge, alternating as you rise, bringing the hands with you and not bringing the hands with you. And as you move, just feeling the rooting of the feet into the ground. And the next time the arms come down by the sides and the spine finds the ground, stay there. And one more time, keep the arms by the side, palms face down, roll up into a bridge. And then flex through the right toes, and you can send that right heel long toward the bottom of the mat. So the right leg is straight and your thumb is still in bridge here. So engage the back body, engage the thighs. And on the next breath, you can bring that right leg back in, reset your bridge, and then send the left heel long out in front of you. Toes are flexed. On the next breath, bring it back in, and then slowly roll down, spine finds the mat. Nice. And then draw the right knee into the chest. And just stay here in stillness for a moment. And send the left leg out long in front of you once again. Heel on the ground, toes are flexed. Begin to rock the right knee from side to side. And bring it back to center. Draw the left leg up toward the sky. So a straight leg, sole faces the ceiling. And if you need to bend the knee a little bit, that's okay too. And then draw the right foot into half happy baby. That right arm can be out to the side, or it can even be helping your left leg to stay steady. Release the right foot up to meet the left. And then rebend both knees, bring both soles of the feet back to the mat. Draw the left leg, left knee in toward the body. And then send the right leg long toward the bottom of the mat. Begin to rock the left knee from side to side. And then come back to stillness. Draw the right foot up toward the sky. Toes are flexed. And take the left leg into half happy baby. Use your breath to settle into this pose, bringing the left knee closer toward the ground beside you. And then release the left leg to meet the right. Arms out in cactus, or if you want a little bit more stability, they can be down by the side. So reset so that the whole spine is in connection with the mat. So you might need to tuck the sacrum slightly. Really get strong through the legs. And then take the toes to touch, heels apart. And take the heels to touch, toes spread. Just take a few of these back and forth. We're really slowly opening up the hips and the legs. Keeping that spine in connection with the mat. And the next time the toes come to touch, heels are apart, stay there. And that spine is connected, and lower the feet just enough to engage the core. So it might be 10 degrees, 45 degrees. Maybe you bring it all the way down to the mat and hold for a full round of breath. Abs are engaged. And then rise back up. Heels touch, toes are apart. Once again, lower the legs just enough to engage the abs, always keeping the spine in connection. Full breath here. And back up. We'll take a few more rounds of that. So toes touch, heels apart, lower the legs, engage the core. Full round of breath. And rise. Heels touch, lower the legs. And rise. And one more round at your own pace. Meet with legs back at the center. Nice. Draw both knees into the chest. And you can take some knee circles here to massage feet back toward the mat. And cross the right ankle over the left thigh for a figure four. So it's still early here. You can stay connected with the mat, or if it's calling to you, you can draw the left leg closer toward the body. Shoulders are melting into the earth. And you can let that left foot just flop. If you've drawn the figure four into the body, release it back to the mat and bring the arms out to cactus. Bring the whole figure four over to the left, so the right sole of the foot finds the ground beside you. Gaze over the right shoulder. And draw it back to center. Uncross the legs and take the figure four to the other side. Once again, that right foot can stay rooted into the mat, or you can draw the figure four in toward the body. Left toes are flexed, right foot is limp. Release the figure four back to the mat. Arms come out to cactus. And then figure four goes over to the right. Gaze over the left shoulder. See if you can get the left knee to face a little bit more toward the ceiling, even if it's just slightly. And then rock it back to center, uncross that figure four, and find a full happy baby. We'll stay here for 10 rounds of breath. So let the weight of your hands really pull the feet, or maybe it's on the back of the thighs, but pulling those thighs and knees closer toward the outer ribs, closer toward the ground. Relax the shoulders. One more breath here. Fill up the belly. Let it out. Draw the knees into the chest and then rock and roll up to a seated position. Have one foot in front of the other and inhale the arms up and overhead. Really reach out to the fingertips, gaze up toward the sky. And then as you exhale, fingertips find the ground in front of you. And as you breathe, you can sink in a little bit deeper, or you can stay up nice and high. We'll take 3 more breaths here. So see if you can settle in and sink in a little bit more. And over the next breath, round up, fingertips drag in toward the body. And just switch the cross of the legs. And inhale the arms up and overhead. And exhale to fold forward, fingertips find the mat. And then fold down a little bit more. This one always resets my hips if they're out of alignment here, really. Once it kind of goes back into place, I can get a lot more deep. Take another round of breath here, settle in. And then round the spine, drag the fingertips to come back in. And just swing the feet out to the side, find yourself in a tabletop pose. Give your hips a little shake from side to side. So we're warming up here, the heat's finally on and filling the room. Hopefully the hips are opening up a little bit too. And then come back to stillness. And take 2 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale to round the spine, drop the crown of the head. Take 1 more round. And come back to center. And I'll face you for this. And starting on the right side, so really root down into the palms and into the left leg. Just bring the right leg out for a fire hydrant. And down. And we'll take 4 more of those. Inhale it out. Exhale it down. 3 more. Meeting back in tabletop. Nice. And then same again, bring it back to fire hydrant. And extend the leg long. We'll hold that for 3 rounds of breath. Flex through those toes. Try to stay nice and even over the center of the body. And then plant the foot out beside you. And rise up. Arms come up and overhead. As you exhale, side bend over the straightened leg. You can even dome through the upper ribs here. And then come back to center. And drop the left hand down beside you, raise the right leg off the mat. And then bend the right knee to right elbow. Re-extend, that foot finds the mat and dome through the upper ribs. Rise back up to center. We'll move from side to side here. So extend over your straightened leg. Back to center. And then down to the other side, raise the leg and elbow meets the knee. Extend, foot comes back to the mat. Really feel that stretch through the whole side body. Rise back up to center. And then over the right leg. Come back to center. Moving from side to side. Nice. Elbow meets the knee. And extend. Back to center. We'll take one more round. This time we'll rise back up to center. And then find the hands out in front of you and walk them out for a variation of puppy pose. And then walk the hands back in and rebend that right leg, coming back into tabletop. Take one round of cat-cow before we move to the other side. Okay, so root into that other leg. So the right leg is the left leg comes up into fire hydrant. And lower. 4 more. Feeling this in the outer glute and the outer hip. And we'll meet back in tabletop whenever you get there. And then once again, bring that left leg out into fire hydrant. And then extend it out, flex through the toes. So keep that foot off the ground to start. We'll spend 3 breaths here. And then plant the left foot on the ground and rise up, arms come up and overhead. Nice. And then drop the left arm, right arm comes up and overhead. Gaze wherever it's comfortable here. And then both arms come up and overhead. Right arm comes down. And elbow and knee meet. Plant the left foot. Dome through those ribs. Find the stretch in the side body. And then rise up, moving from side to side. And we'll take one more set, one more round. Rise up. And bring the hands out in front of you for that puppy dog variation. And walk the hands back in, come back in a tabletop pose, 1 round of cat-cow. Come back to center and tuck the toes here. Just hover the knees about 1 inch up off the ground. Engaging the core. See if you can find some steadiness. Let's spend 3 more rounds of breath here. If you feel strong and confident here, give yourself a smile. And then bring the hips back toward the heels and rise up into your first downward facing dog. So pedal it out here, take any movement that's calling to you. And then we'll meet in stillness. And step, hop, or float your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Just round through the spine. Arms can stay limp. Head rises last. And then arms sweep up and overhead. Exhale, hands to center and release the arms down by the side. Feel the feet rooting into the ground. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Hands come through heart center as you fold forward, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Round through the spine to rise up. Head rises last. Inhale the arms up overhead. Hands come through heart center. Hands down by the side, mountain pose. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands come through heart center. This time the palms plant. Step back into plank pose. Get strong here first. And then bend the right knee to come toward the right elbow. And back. Left knee toward left elbow. And back. Moving from side to side. Stay in that plank. Use your core muscles. Finish the round you're on, and then take one more to the right elbow and to the left. We'll meet back in plank pose. And then back in downward facing dog. And drop the knees out to the side, toes together, child's pose. Tent the fingertips to make this really active, and then let the chest and the belly melt toward the mat. Reconnect with the breath, let it become steady. And plant the palms, push yourself back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg back up behind you. Exhale to step it to the outside of the right hand. Lower the left knee down to the mat and keep the toes tucked, or you can untuck them. And just twist over toward the right side. Right hand comes to the inner thigh. Press down into the left palm to stay lifted. And exhale to release. Bring the left knee up off the mat and step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Sink down into Malasana, or you can stay up into Ardha Malasana. We'll be here for just a second. Send the arms out in front of you and rise all the way up. Exhale the hands through heart center and release the arms to the side. Inhale the arms up and overhead and swan dive forward. Plant the hands and step it back into plank pose. Bring the left knee toward the left elbow. And back. And the right knee toward the right elbow. And back. Moving from side to side. Take one more to each side. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And the knees out, toes together, child's pose. Tent the fingertips. This time thread the right arm underneath the left. You're finding a thread the needle, child's pose. And then unwind. Take a breath at the center and thread the left arm underneath the right. And unwind, coming back to center and come back to downward facing dog. Hips nice and high, palms planted. Inhale the left leg back up behind you. And exhale to step it to the outside of the left hand. Lower the right knee down, toes tucked or untucked. And then twist yourself over to the left. Really twist through the belly, find some release in the lower back. And then unwind, come back to center. Right knee comes up off the mat. And step it to the outside of the right hand, coming into Ardha Malasana or full Malasana. Send the arms out in front of you and rise up. And then bring the feet to face front so they're no longer heels in, toes out. And sink down into a wide-legged chair pose. Yeah. So shine the heart forward. You can tuck the tailbone a little if it helps you get any lower. And we'll stay here for 3 rounds of breath. Bring the hands to heart center and fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to fold forward. Round through the spine to rise all the way up. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Gaze can stay forward. Bring the feet into hips width distance apart. And we'll just do a couple kind of moving trees here. So with your right foot, kickstand it out to the side. And then bring it in toward the arch. So really find your rooting here. So hug your hip in. And then we're just gonna move up and down the leg. So you might not go as high as you would if you could help your foot up. So you're just gonna drag it up and drag it back down. Staying steady. If your arms get tired, you can bring them to your chest, or you can even bring them down to the side. And the next time the foot comes up your leg, you can use your hand to help it wherever you want it to go. So if you want it nice and high, I have to use my hand. You can keep it down on the calf or use the kickstand on the floor, just as long as it's not on your knee. You can get nice and steady wherever you are. And if you want to take a waving tree, or if you want to bring your hands back to heart center, you can close your eyes for an extra balance challenge. Give yourself a little smile here. You're all so strong. And if you fall out, just come back in. One more breath. I'm shaking. And then release that foot down to the ground. Shake it out. Anyone else's leg burning? And inhale the arms up and overhead. Gaze comes to center and kickstand the left leg out to the side. So hug in the right hip if you need that reminder like I do. And then get stable through your standing leg. And just start taking some of those flowy trees, dragging the leg, the left leg up the right and back down. And the next time the foot comes up the leg, find your tree wherever you want it. Find the stability. And then take any variation of waving tree, hands at heart center, eyes closed. And over the next breath, you can release your tree back to the ground. Really shake out those legs. You can flex through the toes. And inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale to hinge at the hips as you fold forward. And just bring the knees out to the side as if you were maybe going to do a crow, but we're not going to do crow. The knees come out toward the upper arms. And then straighten it back together as much as you can. I can't straighten my legs and touch the ground at the same time, but maybe you can. And then bend the knees out toward the side and straighten the legs. And one more time, bend the knees out toward the side and straighten the legs. And this time, plant the palms, step it back into a plank pose. Now we'll take our first vinyasa of this practice. Lower the knees down, find your cow back, and lower the chest and chin, slither forward, untuck the toes, baby cobra. And exhale to release, press back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg back up behind you. Exhale to step it through in between the hands this time. Lower the left knee down, untuck the toes, rise up, low lunge. Exhale to release. Tuck the left toes, knee comes off the mat, easy twist over toward the right. And exhale to release. This time rise all the way up, high lunge. And exhale, release. Step it back, downward facing dog. If you're feeling like a vinyasa here, take one. And we'll stay on the right side. Inhale the right leg back up behind you. Exhale to step it through in between the hands. Lower the left knee down, untuck the toes, rise up, low lunge. Exhale, release. Tuck the left toes, gentle twist. Right hand rises. Exhale, release. And then rise up, high lunge. And this time open it up into warrior two. Yeah, nice. So make sure you have arch to heel alignment. That front leg is bent and arms are long, body is centered over the hips. Gaze goes front. And then reach the front arm forward and release it back, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Reverse warrior. Just moving back and forth with your breath between reverse warrior and side angle. Feel free to stay anywhere for an extra breath. It feels really good for your body. Keep that front leg bent. Finish the round you're on. So after your next side angle, rise back up into a warrior two. And then sweep it forward, high lunge. And exhale to release. Step it back, downward facing dog, optional vinyasa. And then inhale the left leg back up behind you. Exhale to step it through in between the hands. Lower the right knee down, untuck the toes, low lunge. Exhale to reframe. Tuck the right toes and gentle twist over toward the left. Beautiful. Unwind and rise up, high lunge. Exhale to release. Step it back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa. Always feel free to skip it or take a child's pose instead. Stay on the left side. Inhale the left leg back. Exhale to step it through. Lower the right knee down. Low lunge. Frame that foot. Right knee comes off the mat. Gentle twist. Reframe. Rise up. Beautiful. And then open up into warrior two. Just get your heel to arch aligned. Body is centered. Arms are strong. And then reverse your warrior. Front knee stays bent. And exhale, side angle. Flowing back and forth with your breath. Take one more round. The next time you find yourself in side angle, stay there for a breath. And rise back up, warrior two. And high lunge. And lower down, optional vinyasa. Inhale the right leg back up behind you. Bend the knee to open the hip. See if you can drop the left heel closer to the mat and the right heel closer to your glutes. And from here, bring the right knee toward the right elbow. And then back up so the knee is bent, hip is open. Yeah, nice. We'll take a couple more rounds of that. So knee to right elbow, and then sweep it back, open the hip. Take two more of those. And we'll meet back with the knee bent, hip is nice and open. And then just as you exhale, bring the right foot in between the hands. Rise up to high lunge. Find your stability before you move. And then open up warrior two. Nice. Send all 10 toes to face the side of the mat. Hands can come to the hips. Flat back to forward fold. Fingertips find the mat. Nice. And just take a few rounds of bend the knees as deeply as you can, and then straighten the legs. Bend the knees almost as if you're gonna sit in chair, yeah. Nice. And take one more round of that. And then legs are straight, and rise back up. Find your warrior two once again. Beautiful. Okay, bring your hands to heart center. And then you'll straighten your right leg as you bend your left, coming into this side stretch. So if you're super flexy and balanced, you might go all the way down to the mat while keeping your hands at heart center, but then you'll come back up warrior two. So we're gonna do that a few times. So bring your hands to heart center, straighten that front leg, bend the back. So as low as you wanna go in this, or staying up nice and high, as long as you're feeling a stretch in that right inner thigh, and you'll probably feel it throughout the hips as well. Take one more round. This time, sink all the way down. Yeah. You can stay up high if it, yeah. So yeah, left knee is bent, right leg is straight. And then plant the left palm, right arm floats up to the sky. And then just switch the hands, switch the twist. Left arm floats to the sky. Yeah. And then both hands back to center. And however you want to get there, find yourself in warrior two. Beautiful. Sweep the arms forward, high lunge. And exhale to release. Step it back, vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. And then inhale the left leg back up behind you and bend the knee to open the hip. Right heel drops toward the mat and sweep it forward so that the left knee comes toward the left elbow. And sweep it back, open the hip. Forward, knee to elbow, and back. Two more at your own pace. And then step the left foot forward and rise up, high lunge. Open it up, warrior two. And then send all 10 toes to face the side of the mat. Bring your hands to your hips, fold forward. And this time, plant the fingertips and just send the weight to the balls of your feet. Just keep the whole foot in connection. Send the weight to the balls of your feet. And then send the weight to the heels. So this should give you a different stretch through the back of the legs. If it feels really good in one spot, stay there. And then come back to center. Hands to the hips, rise up. And find warrior two. Left toes to face forward. Yeah. And bring the hands to heart center. And you'll begin to straighten that front leg and bend the back. And rise back up, warrior two. So this might be super different from the first side. You might go deeper or stay higher. Just notice. And just take one more round of this. Meeting back in warrior two. And then do that one more time, this time bending all the way, getting to your deepest point here. Hands can come down to the mat. Plant the right hand, left arm floats up to the sky. And then switch the hands, right arm floats up to the sky. Bring them back to center. And however you want to get there, we'll meet in warrior two. Sweep the arms forward, high lunge. And then exhale to release. Step it back, downward facing dog. And step, hop, or float your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale the arms out and up. And exhale to swan dive forward. Step the feet back. Last optional vinyasa here. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg back up behind you. And exhale to step it to the outside of the right hand. And then step, actually keep that left leg nice and long here. So really just feel the strength through that left leg and root down through the right foot. And then you'll bend the left knee to just tap it up to the left elbow. So you'll tap and then send it back. So tap the elbow to the knee and send it back. Take 3 more. We'll meet with that left leg long. And then frame the right foot as you scoot the right foot across the mat, setting up for pigeon pose. So get the left leg long and then untuck the toes. Rise up onto the fingertips first. And you can feel free to stay right here or lower down to the forearms. Remember that figure 4 is always an option on the back if doing this facing the ground doesn't work for your body. Take a couple more breaths to really just feel the sensation and settle in. And then rise up onto the hands. Tuck the back toes and let that pigeon go in any way that you need to. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg back up behind you. And exhale to step it to the outside of the left hand. So get strong in that right leg. Left foot is really planted. And then you'll bend the right knee, bringing it up to the right elbow and tap it back. So elbow to knee and tap. Take 3 more. Nice. Yeah. And then frame your front foot, scoot that leg across, finding yourself in pigeon. Come up onto the fingertips first. And then if you want to lower, you can lower down. You all look so strong here. So if you haven't given yourself a smile during this practice yet, or even if you have, give yourself another one. Finding confidence in whatever your practice looks like today. And over the next breath, come back up to your palms and fingertips. And tuck the right toes. Let your pigeon go. And then see if you can, in one move, hop both feet to the outside edges of each hand into Malasana. So, yeah, nice. And then sink down, bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes. We are almost at the end. Send the arms out long in front of you and rise all the way up. And then hands through heart center, sink back through Malasana, and then sit all the way down on your mat and find yourself on your back. I'll just take a couple rounds of bridge here. So bring your feet in close enough that you can tickle them with your hands. And then as you inhale, rise up. Arms can stay by the side or come overhead, or you can take those alternating moves like we did at the beginning of class. So as you inhale, rise up, and exhale, lower down, just moving with your breath. If you want to hold at the top and clasp the hands underneath the back, feel free to do that. And just take one more round of movement or breath, and we'll meet with the spine on the back, hands by your side. Bring the feet out to mat width distance and knock the knees in together. And then you can take some windshield wipers from side to side. And bring the knees back to center. Draw the knees into the chest and find a happy baby. You can take a little rock from side to side or stay in stillness. And if there's any other pose or shape that you'd like to take, feel free to take that. And since we're in the studio and actually I know that you have a wall available to you. If you want to move your mat, you can do legs up the wall, which is really nice after lots of hips. Or if you want to stay where you are and take traditional Shavasana, whatever is calling to you today. And whenever you're ready to settle in, just allow the eyes to close or come to a soft gaze. Take up your space. And let the breath be natural. On your next breath, fill your belly up and gently exhale it out. If your legs are up the wall, draw one knee in at a time. Take any movement that your body is calling for to help wake you up from Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, you can roll to one side. Take at least one full breath in fetal position. And then slowly and gently we'll meet in a seated position with hands at heart center. Giving yourself one last smile of this practice, bringing that confidence and joy out into the world. Thank you so much for being in studio and online today. Namaste.